Hi, everyone, and welcome to Real with Raya, the podcast that celebrates self development and learning. Oh my God, look how I'm blushing. I am Araya, and today I have the beautiful Reni, the CEO and founder of Rendoll. Reni is the creator and founder of Rendoll, a Nigerian women's wear brand that was launched in 2019. Rendoll has been globally recognized by Vogue, Cosmopolitan, Elle, Instyle, and Bustle magazines, to name a few. Nevertheless, Rendoll is more than clothing. It is a community of women and a collaborative movement towards confidently expressing yourself, regardless of shape or size, through fashionable clothing. Additionally, Reni is a qualified lawyer and has an MBA in entrepreneurship and innovation. A real boss. I'm so excited to speak to her. Hi, Reni.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, thank you so much. She was so gracious with the whole process. You were
Oh,
so smooth and
my
literally, she
pleasure.
was like, "Yeah, I'll come straightforward." So we both love fashion, and I wanted us to play like a little fashion this or that.
Okay,
Okay,
I'm down for that.
so denim denim maxi skirt or cargo maxi skirt.
Denim, denim girl.
I'll say denim as
Yeah.
well. Midi or mini.
So because I'm really tall, I usually go more for like midi because mini doesn't sit where it sits for
Yeah,
other people on me. Yeah, so
yeah,
I'll say midi.
yeah. Okay. Skinny jeans or mom jeans.
Mom jeans, 100%.
Kitten heels or stiletto.
Heels. I'm all for comforts. Stilettos look
Really?
nice, but honestly, after like 30 minutes, I'm like, yeah, it's in heels.
Yeah, I think I'm more stiletto.
Yeah.
It's not the most practical, but I
They
was
look
just,
nice. It's
yeah,
what I was telling you. Like, I feel like if I was 3 inches shorter, yeah, then maybe I'm all for the sleeve. But now I'm like, I'm always going to be towering over everyone anyway. I might as well just
so
be comfortable in my kissing heels.
do you know what though? But there's just something about tall women in heels. I feel like it's just so
I feel
elegant
like
and
it's elegant to see, but like being the tall woman is like, you
mm,
feel like everyone is staring at you. And even when you don't want to draw attention, you're already drawing attention because you're so tall.
yeah. I'll definitely say stiletto. It's not practical, but I'm really short and I just like to, I'm all
No,
for
I
the
get it.
glam.
I feel it.
Okay. Faux leather or faux fur? Satin or lace? Ooh. Plain or prints?
Prince. Yeah.
Really? To be fair, yeah, you're branded.
I'm
Yeah.
a print girl.
You definitely are a print girl. Okay. Blazer or denim jacket?
Denim jacket.
How would you describe your style?
Hmm. I think it's safe, but it's sexy. So you wouldn't see me wear
Mm.
something like very, very unorthodox.
Yeah.
But I feel it's wearable pieces as well. So
Yeah.
you see something and you be like, oh, I can wear that. But there's always just an edge. I feel like the edge is me. But
Yeah.
yeah.
No, 100%. Because I feel like personal style is so unique to who you are. Even
Yeah.
if you wear a plain t-shirt and then you wear jeans, there's always that element in that
Exactly. How
makes you
you
you.
carry
Yeah, how
it.
you carry that
Exactly.
makes
Yeah.
you. It doesn't even have to
100%.
be a piece. I feel like it's also confidence.
Aura.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
aura, it
I
just
get it.
translates to who you are. Okay, cool. So I was we're just talking about this off camera, but I was watching your interview with Culture Custodian and you said that you've always been a girly girl.
Yeah.
And I literally laughed because I was like, oh my God, that is me. I've
You.
never had a tomboy
Never.
phase. So I want to know, even though you were a girly girl, did you always know you wanted to work in fashion?
So
Mm.
like even the decision to work in fashion was very maybe not impromptu, but my whole thing. So even like in uni, secondary school, I never knew what I wanted to be,
Oh,
and
really?
everybody's like, "Oh, you talk so much, you can argue, be a lawyer." So I was like, "Okay, fine." So I did law all through uni. I thought I wanted to do law because I was actually enjoying it, and then my first day in court, I was like, "Yeah, this is not
Nah.
for me." But I was like, "Okay, it's NYSC. I'll just do court for the first year and see how that goes." And then after that, I tried corporate law. I didn't like it either. I was like, okay, you know what? It's time to do a master's. And if I don't want to do law, then I'm not doing a master's in law. So I did the MBA. And then randomly during the MBA, I just said, okay, I'm starting a fashion brand because I was already getting my tailors to make clothes for me. And it was so random. Like I was literally driving. I don't even know what made me think about it. And I was like, you know what? Thinking a brand and I'm naming it Rendoll. And I saw my husband and I were dating before. I saw him right after, and I told him, and he's looking at me like, where
Where did this come
where
from?
did this come from? I'm like, oh yeah, like next week I'm going to go and register the business, and that was literally it. And since then, it's been back to back.
I love that. So you just
Thank
went
you.
for it. Like,
Yeah, there was no time to talk myself
I
out of
think
it.
that's really important because the minute you start to ponder on things,
You
like,
start finding all the reasons why you shouldn't do it. Yeah.
right, right. Like, even with this podcast, I've always known I wanted to start a podcast, but I think I recorded like my first episode about 6 months before I actually dropped it.
Wow.
And I was just sitting on it. And it's like, why are you sitting on it? Like, just
Just do it.
do
Literally.
literally Nike snapped me that one. Like,
Yeah, just do
just do
it.
it and don't think about it and figure it along the way.
That's
So
me. Yeah.
what made you like bet on yourself and be like, okay, I'm going to do this and go full throttle?
So I think it's generally just my personality. I
Mm,
genuinely believe that anything I say I want to do, I can do. I just have to do the work, do the
mm,
work behind the scenes. So at the beginning, there was no thought of, oh, what if I fail at this? It was more of, what if I know I'm no longer interested in it? You get? So like I just
mm.
knew that if I say I want to do it, then I'm going to do it. And I think it worked out because there was no fear of failure at the beginning. Maybe now there's actually fear of failure. But at the beginning, I also wasn't thinking too big. I was like, I'm just going to start it and see where it goes. So I think
Yeah,
because I didn't put too much pressure on myself at the beginning,
yeah.
there was no, yeah, it was just one step after the other and literally just keep going.
I love that. I was watching your TikTok and it was about a day in the life of an entrepreneur in Lagos.
I'm a new TikTok girl.
I no, I love that for you because that was really real. Like the photo shoot one, as I was watching it, I felt like I was going through different emotions with you.
It
I could even
was,
hear it in
bruh.
your voice.
Yeah, well, at that point, I was like, I'm tired.
I could hear in your voice. You're just like, at this point, I was tired.
Yeah.
But I love that you actually went ahead and did it because I probably would have been like, this is a sign. I'm not.
So
Um,
it did feel like one because even with the collection, because I'm having a pop up and I've been working for like 6 months on that. I almost didn't drop another collection, but I'm
right.
like, I can't not do anything in this period.
Yeah.
So even with the collection, it was a bit rush to get everything ready. So the whole day when things were not working out, I kept thinking, maybe this is God telling you that you're not meant to do this collection. And the model as well, she was so graceful. She just
Oh.
kept saying, no, it's fine. Don't worry about getting that ready. We can be doing videos for TikTok, etc. I don't mind changing multiple times. And I'm there thinking, this is why I stopped modeling for my brand. Because after 2 hours of all of this, I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing it
Yeah.
again. So yeah, and I mean, like, it worked out. It worked out really well. And people send me the pictures and they're like, this is the best photo shoot you've ever done. I'm like,
Yeah.
little do
No,
you
it
know
is. It
what went
is.
behind the scenes.
Yeah. And you said that you used to model for your brand and you sort of like started
Yeah.
getting external models now. What made you make that decision?
So at the beginning, you don't have any money.
Yeah.
So, and me, I'm anywhere that I can save costs and do things myself, I'll do it myself. So for like the first year and a half, wait, hold on. So I launched Rendoll June 2019, and our first photo shoot was May March or April of 2021, maybe.
Oh
So yeah,
wow.
for almost 2 years, I was taking all the pictures, modeling everything, while I get some of my friends to join me. And Koye was literally taking them with an iPhone. Like all the pictures on the website were all iPhone pictures and co. But eventually, like as the brand gets bigger, you also want to put out a better image. I also wanted to focus more on like planning the shoots and the visuals and everything.
Mm.
And when I'm modeling, I can't be doing that at the same time.
Yeah.
So eventually, I started using models, and sometimes it will be just one model. And then obviously, as the budget increases, you can use two models,
Yeah.
etc. So yeah.
Hmm. What role did like Koya, your husband, and like your friends play in building your business at the beginning?
Even till today, like one of my cousins, they will do, he'll wake up maybe at like 8 a.m. I sent him like 50 pictures. And he's just like, bruh, Reni. No, but like my friends are like a big influence, friends and family. So even when I'm like torn between two things, even though
Mm.
sometimes I really know which one I want to choose, but I'm still gonna ask like, oh, what do you guys think about
Yeah.
this? And even when I have pop-ups, so for like all the pop-ups I did in Lagos, I've never had like any official paid staff. It's literally just my
Mm.
cousins,
Oh wow.
siblings and co helping me out. So yeah, I would say definitely in terms of even just moral support, Or like when I'm having a bad day, they're there to remind you that, girl, you don't know what you're doing, etc.
Yeah.
Like you are literally making a mark, just keep going, etc. So I
Yeah.
would say I don't think I can even do it without them. Like no
Mm.
way, no way at all.
That's so real because it's so funny because like people sometimes underestimate the importance of community.
100%.
And I feel like you as human beings, we just need that.
100%. You can't do it
You
yourself.
actually
Nobody's an
can't.
island. Like you actually can't do
Nobody.
it
It
yourself.
takes a team and it really does take people, even if it's just them, like, say, with you, for example, coming to your pop ups, like helping
Mm-hmm.
you, like, distribute stuff or like with the planning or even just like emotional support as well. Cause I can imagine it does get hard, especially because you're based in Nigeria. We're going to get into that. Like,
I feel like my son was so loud.
no, but it's real though, because even like with your TikTok, you could see, and anyone that's been to Nigeria just knows like the logistics there are just not,
It's not as easy,
it's
yeah.
not as easy. It's really, really challenging, especially like as a woman as well. I find that when I speak to women entrepreneurs in Nigeria, it's like we literally just have to try, like
Yeah.
keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. So, what gives you that like push to sustain this momentum?
Money. I'm very
Period.
heavily motivated by money, but no, I kind of like the best thing for me is when I'm scrolling through Instagram or TikTok and I see somebody that I don't know wearing my brand, and you can see that when they make videos or take pictures, their captions, how happy they are in the outfits, how confident it makes them feel. That's the best part for me, honestly. Like I
Mm,
just genuinely like seeing people happy in my clothes, and
yeah.
I see where people wear the clothes to, like their graduations, birthday dinners, weddings that are important to them. So it's like they are really taking you to like the most important parts of their lives.
Mm.
That's the best thing for me, honestly.
That's a really great way to describe it. So when, like, say you're on Instagram and then you see someone wearing Rendoll, what's always your initial reaction?
See, I have to tell myself not to be too much of a fangirl. Low-key, I want to message them like, "Oh my god,
Thank you
you're
so
my brand!
much.
Thank you so much." I remember I went out some one day and some girl was wearing Rendoll and I kept thinking about it. It was in Zaza in Lagos, and I kept thinking about it. I was like, should I? Then eventually I went to meet her. I was like, "Oh, hi, I'm sorry to disturb. My name is Reni. I
Um,
started to say thank you." She was like, "Oh my God, I know you." I was like, "Oh, okay, not too bad." But yeah, like every time when I'm telling people, "Oh, please send me the pictures, etc." Because I
mm,
really just also want to have like an archive of everyone that has kind of gone on this journey with me.
yeah. What advice would you give to people who want to start ventures in, say, like an industry like fashion? Because I feel like with fashion, there's so many ways to go about it, whether you want to do it more like ethically and be more sustainable, you want to do like a fast fashion brand, or you want to even have like more exclusivity, like say quarters, for example. What advice would you give to people? Because there are lots of people that are like, oh, like, this market is saturated. And I guess in any industry as well. Like, it's so funny because I've always known I wanted to start a podcast, but I feel like within like the past 2 years,
Yeah,
there's been a
there's been a
rise.
rise. Yeah,
Yeah. And I was literally talking to a guy like the other day, like last week, and it was like completely new. And I was just like, oh, podcast girl. And I was like, what?
hello.
Like, what?
What do you
I
mean?
know, I know, right? Like, not you judging before even listening, or
Yeah,
like, why would you say that? Like, this is my passion. Don't play with me.
like for real. That's my
Yeah.
baby.
But, what advice would you give to people with, like, say they have naysayers or, like, just people in their ear saying, like, oh, it's saturated, you can't do this? What would you say?
It's like what you said. There's literally I can't think of up to five things in this world in the midst of 5 billion things that are not saturated.
Yeah.
But I think everybody brings their twist to it. I'm happy when I see a new clothing line pop up because I
Mm,
love shopping. And sometimes I'm looking for something and I've checked everywhere and I can't find it. So for me, every new brand that comes up is a new opportunity to find something new. I would say the only thing is when you're going into something, know what your unique selling point is. Like, what
mm,
different thing are you bringing to the table? Because you don't want. I mean, if you're bringing out a brand and it mirrors another brand completely, that's when you have to worry because
yeah.
then you're not doing anything new. But I think you and your ideas can never be the same as anyone. I tell my friends that even if I give another clothing brand my suppliers, like where I get fabrics from, even if we buy the exact same fabric, we're not going to make the same things.
Yeah.
So I think don't worry about how many people are doing it before you. Like, just bring your own unique selling points, your own passion and everything to it, and it will stand out from the rest.
Where'd you get your inspiration from?
So I think my style is always changing because even when I go back and look at things that I made years ago, I'm like, I wouldn't wear that today. So I think it's based on my personal style and how that's always evolving. So I think before I would dress more, I would say like younger, but even now, like my style is a bit more mature, but you still have to throw in some skin because
Yeah.
yeah, sexiness is everything. So I would say, yeah, my inspiration is definitely from my personal style.
If you could wear one designer apart from Rendoll for the rest of your life, what would it be? Ooh,
Uh
you look good in Christopher Esper. The
that brand, oh my god.
mm,
Literally like I feel like this summer when I was doing my TikToks, I'll come the next day. I'm like, yeah, it's from Christopher Esper. And I was like, maybe do something new. Now you can't be wearing the same brand every single day. But
yeah.
no, I really, really, really love their designs.
What's something that you wore a couple years ago that you wouldn't wear now?
Hmm. Hmm. Not sure, you know.
Mm.
Maybe in terms of shoes.
Oh,
So even
really?
now when I say like kitten heels, they still have to be like really cute. I think when I
Mm.
first went into my kitten heel phase, I had so many ugly shoes. And I look back at it now, I'm like, yeah, nah. So I would say maybe some types of kitten heels I wouldn't wear again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kitten heels sometimes can be ugly.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
can be.
You have to really have an eye out
Yeah.
and see which
Can be
one,
very hit or miss.
yeah,
Yeah.
fits your style. So what's your creative process like for Rendell? Say you want to drop a new collection. Talk me through like start to finish what you do.
So I think I don't really design based on season per se, but if it's summer, I'm thinking, okay, I want it to be colorful. I want it to be easy pieces that you can just throw on because I mean, most people are going on holiday, you're outside, you don't want anything that's too constricting, etc. So okay, let me talk you through this last one that I did.
Yeah, let's do that.
So summer, I wanted it to be. So I'm not in a phase where I like easy pieces. Like I just want to throw it on and leave. So I'm thinking I don't want anything that's like a corset or too
Mm.
many ropes. I'm not thinking too much about zips or buttons. Literally just throw it on and go. So I start with that, and then I usually find a print. And then when I find the print, I so like the print that we use now is dragonfly fly print, and I feel like it's just very in line with what I'm going through right now. So it's just breaking through stress, etc., and like just the graceful way of going through hard things. So I started with the prints, and the colors on it were green and pink. So I kind of like things to look visually pleasing. So I'm
Yeah.
thinking, okay, if the print is green and pink, all the other colors in the collection will be like different shades of greens or different shades of pinks or like colors that are close enough to that, just so you look at it and it's not like things going all over the place. So then I start with the colors and then styles. So I'm thinking as well, if I'm making a dress, what fabric is going to work that doesn't require a zip, doesn't
Right.
require buttons, etc. So I start with that. And then sometimes I do sketches first, but I usually come up with the styles in my head first and
Mm.
then do sketches. Then we make a sample. Before, when I was a bit slimmer, I used to make samples in my size. Now my body is three different sizes. So I'm just like, I don't have time to be readjusting. So luckily, my assistant is like a perfect size 8.
Nice.
So it's usually easier when you're like the textbook of a
Yeah.
size.
Yeah.
So we'll make the samples, try them on her, see if, and sometimes you have an idea in your head, you make the dress and it's just not working. So when we do the first sample, then we see, okay, this needs to be tweaked. Maybe we should make this longer, make this shorter, etc. So that's, and then we make the samples for the model and then shoot day. So usually for shoot day, I'm thinking, okay, do I want like a really dramatic set or do I want just something clean, plain? I would say the collection I did, my spring summer one that I did in January or February, it was like a whole sunset theme. Like the visuals were very there. So I was like, I want something a bit different. So I just want like a muted, plain background and let the model and the clothes just speak for
Shine. Yeah.
themselves. Yeah. So it's funny because even at the shoots, so we had done the dress on my assistant's perfect size. The length was fine. And then got to the shoot day and the model tried it on and it's looking 6 inches longer. I was like, this is a mini dress. It was looking mini. So even in the midst of that TikTok I was making, I was still sending my assistant back to the office to literally get the dress cut and almost remade at the bottom, and then she had to bring it back before the end of the shoot. But at that point in TikTok I was making, I was like, you know what, they don't even need to know too much. It's fine. This one I'm telling you is
It's
struggle
already
enough. Yeah.
enough. Yeah.
So after like we've done shoot day and everything, I'm now thinking, okay, do I want to work with, do I want to do any ads on it, work with any influencers, etc. I'm thinking, okay, this influencer would look good in this style. So I can be reaching out to people. Sometimes I've already had them reach out to me before, oh,
Mm.
we want to collab. And I'm like, okay, you know what? We have a new collection coming out. When we have this, those styles ready, I'll send that to you. And then literally just promo from there.
That's really cool. How long does this whole process take from like conceptualization to shoot day?
I think it depends on how much time I have.
Okay.
I can, so in terms of like ordering fabrics, getting them to Lagos and then getting them made is about a 3-week process. So if I wanted like prints, if I want it pleated, I have to wait for the factory to kind of get that done. So that takes like an extra week. So getting fabrics to Lagos, I would say 2 weeks. Maybe let's make it 2.5. I'm making samples another week. So like a month. I would say like a month from when I come up with the design to when the actual piece is made. Yeah. But if I also have 3 months, I can take 3 months. But then I find that I'm always overwhelmed. And every time
Yeah.
I say, oh, I want to give myself time and do this properly, I find myself rushing because so I buy fabrics abroad and get them shipped to Lagos. And if I plan like 3, 4 months in advance, that I can send it by sea, which is much cheaper. But
Mm.
because I'm just always overwhelmed, and by the time I'm done, collection has to come out in like 1 month, so I have to ship it by air, which is so expensive. But I've said that after this pop up, I need to
No more,
restructure my
no more
life
air
because
shipping.
it makes the amount of money that I spend shipping the fabrics with air, it actually doesn't make any sense. And it eats into profit margins as well.
Right.
So I'm like, after the pop up, let me just breathe and then re-strategize my life.
Yeah, that's really cool. So obviously you're a lawyer. I studied law as well in uni. I studied law and media in uni, and I didn't start enjoying my degree until like my third year when I started doing like intellectual property law and more
Mm,
like media law because that aligns with my personal interest.
yeah.
And I remember in even one of my intellectual property modules, we were doing like intellectual property in the fashion space, and I feel like it's really hard to control intellectual property in the fashion space.
Yeah.
So from your experience, have you like had any issues with that, or do you like copyright or like pattern any of your?
So I've actually never done any like copyrights or pattern. I do need to start.
Yeah.
But one thing I would say is there's hardly anything new in the fashion
Mm,
industry. A lot of things are like rinse and repeat.
yeah.
But I think you always have to put like your own personal twist to it.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I'll have people send me stuff and they'll be like, oh, this dress looks like yours. And I feel like when you're not in the fashion industry, it's easy to be offended by things like that.
Mm,
But I can see a dress that you say looks like mine, but I can tell you 5 things that are different about it. Do you get what I mean?
right.
So I also don't really take things too personally or things along those lines. A lot of things are literally rinse and repeat,
Yeah.
but there's only so many ways you can make a shirt and trouser cord set, for example.
Yeah.
That's why I work with prints a lot because I'm like that would
Mm,
definitely like differentiate me from other people. So you can see a print and be like, okay, yeah, that's a Rendoll print. But I think yeah, it's literally just putting your personal style into it. But I think there's some prints that I've used that I would like to trademark
mm.
because
You just really love
yeah.
it. Yeah.
So it's funny because when I first started Rendoll, I wasn't making my own prints or buying them exclusively. I would just buy whatever I saw available. And then I would see other brands using the same fabric. And obviously, they bought it as well. So they have a
Yeah.
right to. So I feel like it now becomes confusing for a customer because they see that print and they're like, oh, is that Rendoll or is that something else?
Right.
So after that started happening, and it was happening with my bestsellers as well. So I'm like, yeah, I would want my bestsellers to just be for Rendoll.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I work with Prince a lot because it's just it's so distinguishing
Yeah.
that yeah, that you
That
just
makes
know
so
that
much.
it's for
I
the
actually never
brand.
thought about
Yeah.
it. That makes so much sense. So how do you put your own spin on trends?
So I even try not to do very trendy things because
Mm,
things go out of fashion really quickly.
yeah.
And Rendoll is not the most expensive brand, but it's also not cheap. Like even for me, I would say in my financial state in life now, I wouldn't be able to go to the brand and buy 7 things at the same time. Do you get what I
Yeah.
mean? So I try not to do things that are too trendy so that if you buy them now, you can still wear them 2 years from now. So every time I'm making a new collection, I'm thinking, me personally, would you still want to wear this 2 years from now?
Mm,
Does it have the qualities that will make you still want to wear it? So if it's like a simple slip dress, for example, you can wear that even when you're 50. Do you get what I
yeah,
mean? So I try not to do trends too much, but if it's something that's really going on, so maybe frills are in play, for example, at the moment, I can do like a simple dress, but I won't kill the dress with frills. I'll just maybe something cute at the
that
bottom
makes
so
sense.
that it
Yeah,
still blends into what's going on now, but it still remains
timeless.
timeless. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we're on sync with that. So, what challenges have you faced with like running Rendell so far?
I feel like every day of my life is literally a challenge. It's crazy because I feel like I've also gotten so good at dealing with them that I almost can't explain to someone when I'm going through a challenge because it's like it
Really?
just looks so smooth. So at the moment, I'm trying to do wholesale, and that's to basically just being stocked by retailers and co. So I was thinking I don't have the capacity to do that in Lagos because we have a really small team, and if like a wholesaler is ordering like 1,000 pieces, it's going to take me months to make that. So I was like, okay, let me try producing in China. I mean, I already buy all my fabrics there. And my manufacturer goes, oh, yeah, that they produce as well. I'm like, oh, perfect, because I already get so many fabrics from you. We already have a relationship. It's easier to just start with
Yeah.
production. So now for my spring summer collection, spring summer 24, that I meant to display at Fashion Week this year, I started designing it in December last year. This is, for me, that's very early because I'm designing in December for a show that's in October.
Wow, almost a
Yeah,
year like
exactly.
ahead. Yeah.
But my thing was, I want to come up with all the styles, and it's more styles than I would have done before because usually I do like under 10, but this is about 20 or 25 styles.
So
So I'm
double.
like, yeah, let me do it in advance. And I'm like, let me buy all the fabrics, make all the samples here exactly how I want it, and then send it to them and say, just copy. Don't put any, don't be, just literally, if you say
Listen to
A,
my
just
instructions.
just copy. So I did that. I ordered all the fabrics. I got them ordered from different suppliers, got it all delivered to this supplier who's also manufacturing for me. Got some of it sent to Lagos, made all the samples, spent like 500K shipping it to China.
Wow.
Okay. And I asked her before we even started, I'm like, let me send you pictures of things I've done so you can let me know if these are the kind of things that you produce, like how much it would cost, etc. She's like, oh, no, 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 don't worry, we can make it. That should have been the first red side, like the first red flag. But I'm like, because I've worked with you for almost 3 years now.
There's trust there.
Exactly. So I sent everything. Then they sent the first batch to Lagos. And I was like, how can you get it so wrong?
I'm scared.
The answer is in front of you. I've given it to you. All I've told you to do is literally copy. And when I've done that, it means that when you're done with what you're making, you can compare it and see, okay, does it look the same? So that day, I first sat down for like 1 hour thinking, where do I even start correcting this from? So I did like a whole PowerPoint document, breaking every single thing down. This is what you need to change. This is what you need to do. And then I sent it to her and I'm like, please don't make these mistakes with batch two because I've already booked the shoots for July in London and I've
Right.
paid the photographer, I've literally paid for everything.
Yeah.
So it has to be ready by July. And she goes, yeah, you know what? Because I like you, I'm going to be very honest with you that I know what you want and your designs are like very intricate and cool, but like we're used to making fast fashion. I said, sorry.
Wow.
You didn't think to tell me that before? You're telling me
Oh.
this, she told me this in May. This is how many months after we've been through this process.
Oh my
So I'm,
god.
so I'm just there, like, first of all, you set me back so much because I was really on this wholesale journey, like having meetings with buyers. And now I have to take a step back because I don't want to get orders and not be able
Fulfill them.
to fulfill them. I told her, you know what? All the samples I sent you, all the remaining
Oh my
fabric,
god. That
just
is.
ship everything back to me in Lagos. So that's why I said I need to go back to Lagos because
Oh
that's what's waiting
wow.
for me. And I'm coming back here mid-July. Everything needs to be ready before then. So I feel like that's why my whole mind is like, let me just go back home and bear in mind that I've had to obviously pay for all the shipping back to Lagos.
Yeah.
So that's getting like manufacturers, suppliers, etc. I wouldn't say I really struggled with the suppliers of fabric because before I would just see what I like online and buy. But now you always have to send me a sample first because I've
Yeah.
ended up wasting a lot of money in the past. In terms of, so I was another thing, maybe labor. We're working with like really limited machinery because I mean we don't really have factories in Nigeria that
Yeah.
produce on that scale and co. So I've had to do a lot with what I have, and every day for my tailors is like new. It's like a learning,
That's so
literally
crazy. Like you're
every
literally going
day.
through this as we speak.
Literally every day is a learning thing for them, and I keep having to like sometimes I even beg. I'm like, see, this brand is my baby. And at the end of the day, if anything goes wrong, you will get a job somewhere else and you'll be fine.
Mm.
I'm the one that would have nothing. And I also tell them, I'm also a very proud person. Like, I want to go outside and be free and not feel like anybody's going to come and attack me for giving
Yeah.
them nonsense. I'm like, if you make something bad and we deliver that to the customer, I'm the face of the brand. It's
Yeah.
really they're going to drag. They don't know who's behind the scenes making the
Especially in
clothes.
Lagos as well.
Ah, girl, they're gonna drag you by your ponytail. So that's. But to be fair, and I really, I mean, I did appreciate them before, but you see, after getting the samples back from China, I wanted to hug my tailors. I'm like, guys, like
Aw.
you have no clue how good your work is. So that definitely, and then shipping. Oh my god, shipping. I've always wanted to be a brand that can reach everywhere in the world.
Yeah.
So from very early on, I was doing worldwide shipping, and I've tried other smaller companies to ship through. Packages will get lost, or when they receive it, the box has been rumpled, etc. So I stick to DHL, but DHL is so expensive,
It
and
is.
I feel like they increase their prices like twice a year. And also because of the foreign exchange keeps getting more expensive, like the dollar rate to naira keeps increasing, and I think these international brands basically peg their prices to whatever the dollar is at that point. So shipping literally keeps getting more and more and more expensive. And there's only so much you can put on shipping. Nobody wants to buy a dress for £120 and pay £50 to ship
That
the
turns me
product.
off. When I
Exactly.
see the shipping prices are just too crazy,
Exactly.
I'm just like, you know
So
what?
that's another issue that's, and I don't know where we're going to go from here because it literally just keeps going up. And even now that fuel prices have gone up in Lagos, I'm waiting. I'm just waiting for DHL to send their email and be like, effective January, this, prices are going up by 20%. But I mean, I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And then I would say, even so, people say that the hardest part about a business is starting. Starting
Really?
is the easiest.
What would you say the hardest part is?
Scaling. Oh my God. Growing.
Mm.
Like, I feel like this year, Rendell has pulled me this way, pulled me that way. Like, she's trying to tear me apart. But I'm like, no, I have to stay composed.
Yeah.
Scaling, because you're also used to doing things a particular way. And for me now, it's like, okay, I know I need more staff, but I'm thinking, can I afford it? I don't want to hire somebody and not be able to pay them their salary when it's due every time. So you start thinking, okay, what is the most important thing to me now? Like, apart from with all the things that I need, which two are the top? Okay, let me hire someone for this, hire someone for that. And
Mm.
obviously with scaling as well, you have to get a bigger space. So you see where I'm working out of now, we can't fit in one more human being. Like nobody else can fit in there. So I'm
Wow.
thinking scaling is not even just hiring someone else and having the salary for that. It's getting a bigger space. So I mean, there are just so many things that are thrown at you from all different directions. And then I'm also like really, really big on customer service,
Mm.
and it's also hard to find, like no one is going to care about your business the way you do. I mean, eventually I guess maybe like when you're like much bigger and etc, you can get those people because you can afford them. But at this stage, it's really difficult to find people like me. I'm a people pleaser for my customers because I always want them to be satisfied,
Yeah.
etc. But finding people that are going to have that same passion as you, and yes, we can have rules that say, oh, maybe no, this is ready to wear. But then someone comes to me and she's like, oh, I'm a 12 at the top, I'm a 16 at the bottom, I really want this dress. Now, obviously, if you've given somebody a blueprint and say, these are our rules, this is what you do, this is what you don't do, they're going to tell that customer, oh, I'm
I
sorry, etc.
see. Yeah.
But for me, because I know what I'm trying to achieve, then I can be like, okay, it's fine. We still have some fabric, we can make it in your size, etc. So just finding people that are going to think about these things through those stages as you has been hard, but it's definitely getting better, I would say.
You seem really like calm when dealing with these challenges. Like I can't believe you're literally going like I think the first one you mentioned about having all that batch shipped back. That is crazy. Like how do you just stay calm and collected?
So for me, I don't like to cry over spilled milk
Mm.
because I've been at a point in my life where I'm crying and it's not solving any problem. Like you're just crying, and then when I cry, my nose is blocked for the next 2 days. I'm stressed. So now I'm just like, what's the solution? Every
Mm.
time I'm fighting with a customer, I'm sorry, with a supplier, and we're going back and forth, I'm like, look, I don't have time for this argument.
Yeah.
What is the
Where
solution?
do we go from
So
here?
for me,
Yeah.
it's always what's the solution? Like, how do we solve this problem? And I'm someone that if a problem hasn't been solved, I can't sleep. Like, we literally
Mm.
need to find a solution to the problem. So it's funny because it's what you said. Like I've been going on holiday, enjoying my life, but nobody knows what's going on inside my
Oh my
brain and all the
god.
fires that I'm putting out. And I think as an entrepreneur, you put out so many fires that it just becomes second nature. So I think that's what it is. What's the point of parrying and getting worked up, etc.? Just find a solution. Every problem, it might be an expensive solution, but every problem has a solution. And just fix the problem and move on to the next. I always say it's a bad day, not a bad life. So
Facts.
yeah.
Yeah. That's really good. Would you say you're more like logical than emotional, just in general, business aside?
Yes, business aside, definitely, maybe, yeah, definitely more logical. Because there's actually really no point getting upset. When I get upset about things and maybe I shout, I'm thinking about like, what was the point? Also, like when you're shouting at someone, they can't hear what you're saying. I
Yeah.
also speak really, really fast. So when I'm angry and I'm shouting, even me, I'm like stumbling on my words and it's even making me
Yeah.
angry. I'm like, oh, they can't hear what I'm saying. So these days I'm trying very hard to like be very logical with what I'm trying to say. A is what went wrong. B is why it went wrong. C is how we fix the problem. D is the solution, etc.
Period. What's something you learned about the fashion industry that you didn't know before you started your business?
hmm. I would say it can be very clicky.
Mm.
Yeah, I would say it can be very clicky, especially if you're someone that didn't like go to fashion school or you don't have a fashion background, etc. It can be very clicky. And people also don't share enough information.
Yeah.
I feel like we definitely need to share more information. But I've been lucky, like, oh, I have a lot of friends, or I've made a lot of friends since I started Rendoll that also have clothing lines. So it's like a shared struggle. And if I tell you about my problem, you can identify with it. I actually wanted to do something where I speak about not the woes of entrepreneurship, but like the realities of it. But for me, I haven't figured out a balance between sharing and oversharing
Right.
because I'm thinking because like the one I made now. Imagine a situation where we make a dress and then let's say someone is walking with the clothes in their hand and it drops into dirty water or something, for example, and we have to like dry clean it and co. I feel like there's some things that customers just don't want to know.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I didn't need to know that information.
Yeah.
Do you get what I
Yeah.
mean?
Okay. I get what you
Yeah.
mean.
So for
Yeah.
me, I'm still trying to figure out a balance between sharing enough that you know what's going on behind the scenes and the realities and not giving too much information.
Yeah.
But I think it's something that I would definitely do eventually when I've kind of gotten my act together. Now I'm still trying to figure it out.
Yeah. And you're doing a really great
Thank
job.
you.
You really are. How do you balance the creative aspect with the business side of the business?
Every day I ask myself, do you want to do the business side or do you want to do the creative side? Because sometimes I think I just want to focus on the creative side.
Yeah.
And then some other times I'm like, no, I'm actually really good at
No,
business. So
I
I
feel
want to
like you
do
are.
that.
I feel like
Yeah.
you are.
So right now, obviously, I'm doing both creative and business, but I actually also envy the brands that have it separate and one person can focus on this, one person can
Mm.
focus on that. But then when I think about that, I'm thinking, okay, that does that mean that as a designer I can design something and the business side would be like, no, we don't think I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, nah.
Yeah. No.
For now, I'm gonna be doing both myself. I think it's you have to prioritize a lot and compartmentalize. So for me, I can say, okay, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. is for working for the business, and then 12 noon to 6 p.m. is working on the business. So for the business,
Mm.
we can do like customer service, all the back to back delivery, logistics, etc. And then after, I'm thinking, okay, how do we grow this business? What new things do we need to do to get to the next stage we need to do? Who do we want to work with, etc. So you have to literally try and make time for each thing. If not, you're going to find yourself spending too much time on one thing.
Yeah.
And I'm still struggling with it. Like there's some times that I'm like, okay, I haven't worked on my business this week. So
Right.
there's definitely times that you would still struggle, but you have to be very, very intentional about making time for each thing so that each thing is growing equally.
What are some of the highlights of Rendoll so far? Because you only launched in 2019 and We're in 2023. It's scaled so much within. That's actually not. I feel like it's a short amount of
Yeah,
time
literally
because
just turned 4.
that's crazy. So, what has been like some highlights or your biggest highlight?
I would say highlights, and I think the first when Vogue reached out to
That was
me,
my next
it
question.
was it was like a year into the brand. It was the pandemic year, 2020. So like yeah, just over a year. I thought it was fake because they had sent a
Really?
message through like there's like a contact thing on the website. And I saw it and I sent it to my auntie. I'm like, I see this 419 people. They want to come and get me again. So my auntie went and Googled the lady who like wrote the email and everything. And she was like, I think it's legit too. So I responded to them. And I feel like at the time I didn't really take it in properly. It was like because there were 3 issues. So November, December, January. I think it was after that I sat down and I was just like, you realize how many people have been in business for like 10, 15, 20 years. And
Yeah.
and I'm like, you and your at that point, it was me, one tailor, and I'm not even sure if I had an assistant. It might have just been two of
Wow.
us. I'm like, two of you, your iPhone and your modeling for yourself have made it to Vogue. Even all the pictures, one or two of the pictures at Vogue were pictures that I had taken with my iPhone.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, yeah, you need to sometimes like I know like I'm really hard on myself, but I'm like, you also need to take it in. And since then there've been like so many like publications that I can't even keep up. So I have a press page on the website where I try to like update. And sometimes I'm just like, okay, maybe we'll not put this one. because
No, no, no,
because
no, no,
it's
no.
getting plenty. Do you get?
I-
So I would say that I would say how far the brand has gone in terms of like country reach. I
Mm.
think I've shipped to some countries that don't even know what continent this country is in. So I'm like, where did you find the brand? Like I've shipped to Russia, some places in the Middle East, deep like Caribbean countries. So I would say that as well because I'm also thinking I don't have any funding. Everything has literally been self-funded. It's putting whatever I'm making from the business back into the business. So I'm like, I mean, you don't have investment, but you're doing a pretty good job. So sometimes just tap yourself on the back. So I would say
Yeah.
that, and even just like customer satisfaction. Some
Mm.
emails that I get from customers actually make me want to cry. And I'm not even that much of an emotional person, but like some people, they almost even believe in you more than you believe in yourself. So when I'm having hard days and I look at these messages, I'm like, wow, like I'm like someone definitely like appreciates what I'm doing, and it like gives you the I would say ginger to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really great. And like, what gives you that discipline to invest back into the business? So, say you, when you started, like, when you've broken even and you're like, okay, wow, my business is doing great. And you said you have to consistently,
Go back into it.
yeah. What gives you that discipline?
I mean, the truth is that you know that if you don't, you're going to go out of business.
Right.
So when I see one bag that I want, I'm like, and I've been working, oh, I've been
Mm-hmm.
suffering to say I deserve this bag, oh. And then I just be like, yeah, but you need to do ads, you need to do this. Because at the end of the day, the more you put back into the business, the more it grows. And I really don't want to be that person that they'll say, her business was doing well, oh, she started making money. All
Oh,
of a sudden, she started living lavish and the business started going left. So I think also a fear of failure makes me reinvest back into the business. But I can't lie, I gotta spoil myself here and there because I'm telling myself I have to stay motivated.
as
And
you
nice
should.
things keep you motivated. So it's just I would say it's just like striking a balance between putting back and it's funny because I tell people, I say, Rendoll can afford me. Like, I'm actually working
Mm,
for her for free, really. The
mm.
salary I want to be earning, she doesn't have money to pay me. So, really and truly, if I'm doing you all these favors and doing all these things for free, the least you can do is buy me a nice thing here and there. So, yeah, that's what I tell myself. But yeah, there's definitely, even, I think just even adulting in general, there's some luxuries and some things that you have to deprive yourself of because of like important responsibilities. So, yeah.
What's one person you want to see in Rendoll that you haven't seen?
Yeah.
Beyonce. Okay, another one.
Um, Beyonce, I would also say Rihanna.
You can give a couple to be fair.
Okay, so I would say Beyonce, Rihanna, was Michelle Obama. When I start naming, when I
Ooh.
make, I feel like
She goes
because
with your brand.
yeah, I
She
feel like she does. I've
does.
been
She
seeing the way she's
does.
been dressing
No,
these
she
days,
really
and I'm
does.
like,
Yeah.
girl, your aesthetic is coming this way. I would say definitely her. Me, I'm very inspired by like powerful women and women that you can see they've put in the work and they didn't just find themselves in these positions. I would say 3 of them. Definitely. I might lose my mind the day that happens. If anybody sees me acting crazy on the internet, let them just know that one of my dreams has come true.
That's a really solid list. We spoke about how you've been able to grow internationally, and that was actually one of my questions. And I feel like what you said earlier on with you shipping to countries that you haven't even heard, well, not like you haven't heard from, but you're
Yeah,
not as familiar
with
with. And that's one of the things I think really stands out with Rendoll as well. In such a short amount of time, you've been able to really scale internationally, especially as you're based in Lagos. Was that your intention?
So you know what? At the beginning, people will ask me like, "What was your vision for Rendor etc?" And I will say, "Oh, I just wanted to make clothes for me and my friends." And I said that in so many interviews. And then I found something that I had written when I was starting about how, yeah, I want to be stocked in Selfridges. I want to be stocked in that. I was like, "Oh, I never knew that I had that thing." So I think that I definitely always wanted to go far. Like I want to be, is it a small fun fish in a big pond and not
Yeah.
a big fish in a small pond. So I think a lot of steps that I took were very intentional towards being an international brand. So even when I was like looking for influencers to work with etc, I work with people in America, people in London, because most of their crowd are people in these countries, and I think it kind of just grew from there. And also I would say a lot of things that have helped me, or one of the things that has helped me, is the publications, because like these are
Mm,
all international magazines. People that are reading them are international readers, so I would say that has definitely helped as well. But I think another thing, so when I started, I looked at brands that I liked, brands that I was shopping from, like brands abroad, and I'm like, how are they doing? What's their packaging like? What are their
mm,
systems like? I go on their websites. How do their websites look? Etc. I always say this thing. I'm like, if you want to be a Ferrari, you can't be even like a Toyota. And it's
yeah.
facts, because if you want to be competing with these brands and you want people from these countries to shop from you the same way they shop from them, then you need to kind of be doing what they're doing, and you need to be meeting the standards that these people require from you. So those are the three things that I really like were very intentional about when trying to grow the brand.
Yeah. You mentioned working with international influencers. What's your selection process with influencers? Because there's been like, I feel like sometimes working with influencers can be a bit controversial. My
Yeah.
friend actually wants to start a jewelry brand, and she's kind of like already started it, but she went through a really horrible incident with an influencer. And I think that just like put her off. And I'm trying to get her like back
So
up.
yeah,
And I don't know, like, how do you, because I see the benefit of it, but how do you select? Because you kind of just have to take a risk.
I've been through really bad like situations with influencers as well, because so at the beginning of my brand, I would get excited by anybody who reached out to me,
Mm,
and I'd be like, oh my god, this person wants to wear my brand. So I was just sending clothes. And you have to realize that even if you're not paying these people, you're giving them the clothes for free. You're paying expensive shipping fees
yeah.
from Lagos to send to them. And then some of them wear it, maybe they won't tag, or like they will take like a picture that shows maybe quarter of the
Oh.
outfit, which really, I mean, do you understand? Or like they would they would hold it for ages and nowhere. And I'm thinking, you're the one who reached out to me. I didn't even reach out
Mm,
to you. Do you get? So there's so many situations that I've been in. There's one that reached out to me and I was almost like begging her to post. And then eventually when she posted, it wasn't even like a put together picture. So there are definitely a lot of times that it hasn't worked out. And in fact, I am to myself, you know what? I'm actually not working with influencers again. I'm going to be my own influencer, etc. But I've now had to come up with a selection process.
yeah.
So if you have a jewelry, or let me say clothing brand in my case, and an influencer is like known very well for doing makeup, likelihood that she's going to be able to sell that product for you is really low, because people are looking at her for her makeup.
Right.
They might like her outfits, but I don't think that when they see her, the first thing they're thinking is, let me go and buy what this person is wearing. So that person needs to be like in your industry, I would say. And then I really, really look at engagement. So it's not about how many followers you have. I can work with
Mm,
somebody that has 1,500 followers, 2,000 followers, if they really get engagement. Because it's not
yeah.
about, there are people that I've worked with that have like 300K followers, 1 million followers, and I didn't get a single sale from it. So I really look at engagement. What are the comments saying? Like, are people saying, oh my God, where did you get that from? I want to get to etc. Or are they just there writing slay hot? This is the you get. So you really have to look at their engagement. And then this might sound funny, but I don't like to work with people who work with too many people. And I'll
Yeah.
say that because if you follow an influencer and three times a day they're promoting a brand, I think that their customers have tuned out.
Yeah.
Because I also do, like even me as a customer, if I follow someone and this morning they're advertising this, in the afternoon is this, at night is this, I feel like everything is an ad and nothing is authentic. So I don't
Yeah.
even think they even like the things that they're promoting anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm very wary if it's someone that does too much of that, because I'm thinking it's not going to have any impact. But one thing I've also had to learn is that they're not there to change your business. People feel like, oh, if I
Mm.
work with this influencer, I'm going to blow, I'm going to sell
Mm.
out.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm. It's not like that. You might work with some and it will sell out something, and you might work with some and all it will get you is like followers and co. I think you also have to be very realistic with your expectations of what you're going to get from them. Sometimes they can just be followers. Sometimes it can be a lot of saves on that picture. And I like saves because it means that they're going to come back to it.
Yeah.
Followers as well, they might not like what you have now, but whatever it is you bring out in the future, they might have something in there. So I would say don't always judge success of working with an influencer based on how many sales that they bring you. But you also have to be careful now, because there's some that will do it for you for free. And I say free based on like you gift them and they will post it. But there's some that want to charge you. And I think you have to think about it, like if they're gonna charge you, let's say £4,000 for a post and a reel, you have to think about if you're going to get that back in value.
Right.
Because the likelihood, if you're selling dresses for £100, you have to think that if you're going to get that value for £4,000 back, that person needs to make you at least like 40 sales.
Yeah.
It's not likely. It's very, very, I think there are very, very few influencers that can sell that much. So maybe you can say, okay, if I get 15 from them, 1 5, if I get, let's say, 100
Mm.
followers, as another bit of value that you can try and change to monetary terms, etc. So don't just be there dashing out money. Well, not dashing
Mm.
out because they're doing work for it, but don't just be there giving out money, giving out money, if you're not really calculating how much value you're getting back from it. Like me, I would say I'm still a very small brand, and the people that I want to work with that have given me budgets that I'm just like, I really want to work with you. I understand that that's what you want to charge. I respect it,
Yeah.
but I can't afford it because I know I'm not going to get that much back in value. So, yeah,
That was a really solid answer. And I feel like anyone that's, has a business and wants to work with influencers should definitely listen to that, because it's a two-way relationship as well. It's not just like, of course, like, yeah, you like my brand and you want to work with me, but I also have to think about how I'm going to make this money back,
yeah,
because that's also money you're
yeah,
spending out.
100%.
You have your sample sales soon. How does that feel? Like, is this your first one?
It's my first one out of Nigeria.
Okay.
So and it's even my first independent one
Oh,
actually,
really?
because all the ones I've done in Lagos have been with like other brands. You
Mm.
know, I was in Ghana. I was having the time of my life. I think I was having an excited day, and I was like, you know what? Next year I'm doing 3 pop-ups. I'm doing pop-up in London. I'm doing pop-up in New York. I'm doing pop-up in Ghana, etc. Now I'm only doing London,
Yeah.
but I think I made the decision on a very good day and on a day where I was feeling so confident. And then I've been working on it since January, because we're trying to do like 450
Oh,
pieces over
wow.
2 days. And I've still had, and it's the same tailors I'm using to make them. So while we're still making stuff for the two collections that have come out since then, regular orders, we're still making stuff for the pop up. So we've been working on it for 6 months now.
Wow.
So imagine in the midst of this babe in China stressing me and sending me
Right.
nonsense, I'm still trying to make pop up things here. So I would say I'm a bit nervous. I really hope people turn up, because I mean I put so much work into it that if people don't come, I'm like, I can't imagine if I have to take all these things back to Lagos. I might even just leave them here out of frustration. But I'm trying to be, because at the end of the day, you can't just wish people turn up and not really
Yeah.
do promo. So I do have like couple of things coming, and I'm thinking of doing like an interview thing, just talking about the pop up.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a reel of all the styles, because what I realized is when I see brands advertising sample sales or pop ups or whatever, I'm not in that country. I want to send my friend to buy for me,
Mm.
but they're not going to be going around all the racks showing you every single thing. So my thing was, I know some people might not be able to make it based on not being in London or being out of the country. But if you can see the styles that are going to be there, it's easy to tell your friend, hey, please help me get this dress in a size
Yeah.
12, this dress in a size 16.
Great
Yeah,
idea.
so I'm
Yeah.
thinking of doing a reel. And I remember when I did a reel about a year ago, it was like 31 outfits in Rendoll, with 31 days in Rendoll. So I did 31 outfits. I was changing my bags, my shoes, and it got like almost 100,000 views until now. That's literally my most watched
Oh,
video on social
wow.
media. So I was like, yeah, I think I'm definitely going to do that again. This is why I'm trying to run back to Lagos. These are things that are on my mind that I'm just like, God, I have to go back to work.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's my main goal for the pop-up is like community building. Because we don't have a physical store and everything is literally online. I feel like people want that one-to-one interaction.
Yeah.
And now people are more informed shoppers. They want to see who they're giving their money to. They want to know what your processes are like. So I feel like it's just a good opportunity to meet people, talk, etc. So yeah, I'm excited. 15th and 16th of July.
Yes. And what can we expect in terms of like clothes at the sample sale?
So what I wanted to do was I didn't want to just make pieces that are just for the day, and then when people see them outside, you can't recognize that it's a Rendoll piece. So I've taken a lot of my prints that are known to Rendoll and I've made them in new styles. I've taken some things that we've made before and done them in different colors. So everything on that day that is being sold, you can identify it to Rendoll, but it's not something that has been sold before.
Right.
Yeah, so it's basically just staple things with like different twists or like new prints, not new prints, new styles for the old prints. Yeah.
That's so exciting.
The only thing that's going to be there, maybe not only thing because I might decide later, but like my Zuri dress is like my bestseller. So that one, I'm like, there are people that haven't shopped my brand before that are going to walk past and are going to see and want to buy because it's my bestseller. I'm like, okay, that one piece, I think I can have it at the pop up. So it's the only
Yeah.
thing that wouldn't be a one off.
Gosh. So what other things are you doing in place to like make sure the pop-up goes smoothly in London? Because essentially you're going back and forth.
Yeah. So it's even funny because I went to see the place with my friend Lydia the other day, and she was like asking me all these questions. And I said, let me tell you one thing about me. I compartmentalize so much. If I say that this 2 weeks is for thinking about this thing, I don't want to think about it any other time but those 2 weeks. So because of the stress that I was going through with all the like production for SS24 before I traveled, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go on holiday. I don't want to think about this pop-up.
I like
All
that.
I'm going to
I should
do,
take tips.
all I'm going to do is put out the info on June 15th, and then until I get back to Lagos on this day. But when I get back to Lagos, that's all I'm thinking about. You get. For me though, I do want to kind of create a vibe on that day. I don't want it to just be like something boring. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do to like make it more interactive, etc.
Yeah.
But I already did like all the groundwork in terms of like security. I've gotten all the paper bags, payment systems, who's
So
helping
good,
me on
yeah.
the day. That I did at the beginning when I was figuring everything out. So now I think for me, it's just now trying to figure out what that extra touch is going to be. And that
Right.
thinking is for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks before the pop-up. That's when I'm going to figure that one out.
It's so crazy already because I feel like your personality is so different from like most people.
Really?
Yeah, I like the fact that you can really, especially like women, like compartmentalize how
Yeah.
you feel and you know, okay, I'm going to give your energy to this and that's what I'm going to do. And then like focus on this and then have another focus for another period of time. I feel like it really maximizes productivity.
I think it does.
Yeah.
Because when I find that I'm doing too many things at the same time, I get
Yeah.
overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So me, I have a timetable for everything.
Really?
Everything has a timetable. Literally, even when I was coming to London, I had timetables for when I was seeing my friends, what times I
Yeah.
was seeing them. Because I feel like when you plan things out, it just makes if you've given everything a time, then the opportunity or the likelihood of that of everything working out is higher because
Yeah.
each thing has its own different time. But I have to compartmentalize because when you're an entrepreneur and you're doing a lot of things by yourself, yeah. And I don't like feeling overwhelmed. When I feel overwhelmed, like my whole life is literally falling apart. So
Facts.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I need to like put things into boxes. Even in terms of booking holidays, like I book holidays with my friends. I'm like, okay, this one is for my sister-in-law. This one is for my friend. This one is for my husband. Like literally everybody has
Yeah,
their
has
own
their
time.
own
Yeah.
slot. I like that. Really cool. So one of the inspirations behind this podcast is a Venn diagram. It's a Japanese Venn diagram and it's called Ikigai. It translates to reason for being. If you look behind, you can sort of like see it in my logo. They're like 4 different circles.
Yeah.
So the premise of this idea is that when you fulfill all the different circles, you fulfill your life purpose. So I'll just ask you like what the questions are for each circle and you can just answer.
Okay.
So what do you love?
What do I love?
Yeah.
Family and enjoyment.
I love that. I recorded an episode yesterday and my guest yesterday also said peace.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I
peace is
love
so important.
I love that.
Because what is money without peace? Like I can't sleep at night. I can't be outside and I don't feel like this person's coming to meet me. Maybe I'm owing somebody money, Family, peace of
Yeah.
mind, enjoyment. Me, I love enjoyment. I
Same.
love it. Love it.
I think it's the Nigerian in us.
Yeah. Oh, I love enjoyment.
Oh, I love them. What are you good at?
I'm good at planning,
Mm.
organizing, and I would say showing up for people. Yeah,
Mm.
that's my strengths.
Is that really important to you?
Yeah. And sometimes I even have to remind myself because I think I've been blessed with like really, really good friends. Like my friends are there for me. So sometimes I have to also remind myself that it's not just take, take, take. You also have to
Yeah.
give. But I think because of how important like friendships and everything is to me, I'm very keen on showing up for my friends. It's funny because some of my friends will make comments and they'll be like, you are blowing. No, that way you blow, don't forget to us. And when I'm thinking, if you stop being my friend, I can die.
Like I
Like
need you.
literally, like it's me that needs you. I think about it and I'm like literally, like I'm literally nothing without my friends.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, I definitely relate to that because I was even giving them a
uh,
speech the other day. I was just like, guys, I love you so
so
much.
much, bruh.
Oh, what can you be paid for? Apart from Rendoll, which you're obviously killing.
I would say organizing or maybe like organizing an event for you. Since my family members
Mm.
have been using me for free. Every family party, family event, oh don't worry, family holiday, oh Reni will plan it. Even my friendship group holiday, oh don't worry.
Really? So you're the
Reni will
planner?
plan it.
To be
Yeah.
fair, that makes
I'm the
sense.
planner.
That
I'm the
makes
one that's going to
sense.
give you the itinerary. This is how much you need to pay for this. This is the time that we need to be here. All you need to do is show
That
up.
is
So
not
yeah.
me. I'm the shop.
I'm the
I'm the
planner.
shop. I might have like a couple like things like, oh, let's go to this beach club. Let's go. I'll give you like four
Like a
suggestions,
ballpark,
and then
yeah.
I'm like, just tell me what it is, and I'll be there. Like I do not want to do
Yeah,
the
no, I'm the
planning.
planner. 100% the planner.
Love that. What do you think the world needs?
More understanding.
Mm,
More definitely. You know what I found? I found recently, like going through social media, you see so many crazy things. But I've come to realize that everybody has a perspective. Even people
yeah,
that you think are wrong about something, they have a reason why they believe that that
yeah,
thing is the way it is. So these days, I'm trying to be more understanding. But I'm also so feisty. So when I see something, I'm like, blah, blah, blah. But now I'm trying to like take an extra second to think, okay, why is this person saying this thing?
yeah.
Or even in arguments, sometimes I don't want to hear what you have to say. But I've also had to tell myself that people can't be that crazy. Like there has to be a reason why people
Mm-hmm.
are saying the things. Like, is it their upbringing? Is it their society? Like, what are the things that have informed that decision? So
Yeah.
I think we definitely need more understanding and trying to like see what the other person's perspective is and why they believe. I mean, I don't have to agree with you, but at least
Yeah,
I
but
can
I'll hear you
understand. Yeah, I'll
out.
hear you
Yeah,
out.
that's
Yeah.
so real because I can definitely relate. Like, I feel like with me, I think I'm naturally quite an understanding person, but when I feel so strongly about something, it's like you can't
You
tell
can't
me
tell
that's
me
like you can't tell
otherwise.
me
Yeah.
otherwise. Like, I hear you,
Yeah.
but no. But then I'm trying to understand that two things can actually be true
Yeah.
at once. Like,
Exactly. My new thing is let's agree to disagree.
right,
Yeah.
and then just leave it at
And just
that.
leave it at that.
Yeah,
Yeah. There's no need to fight over it. It's fine. I believe this, you believe that. It's okay. I respect you, you respect me.
and we're
Let's leave
cool.
it. Yeah.
That was amazing. Thank you
It
so
was.
much,
I had fun.
Rennie. I'm so happy you had fun. You've been such an amazing, easy, lovely
Oh.
guest. I'm so glad we made this
Same.
happen.
When I saw the message, I can't remember where. I think I was actually still on holiday when I
Yeah,
saw it.
you
And I was like,
were.
oh yeah, definitely. I checked my calendar. I'm like, okay, I'm free 25th morning. Let's do it then.
No, honestly, guys, like she was so easy. I couldn't even believe how quickly, like, you were like, yeah, just send me the address. Fine, cool. She showed up. I was even like, oh my God, should I send more extra directions or anything? So
No,
easy,
I'm
so
really happy,
chill.
really, really
I
happy.
love
And I
it.
think you're really, really good at this because I felt like really comfortable. All the
Oh,
questions were,
thank
yeah.
you.
And it's crazy because you didn't tell me any of the questions
No, I
before.
didn't.
Yeah.
I
So
didn't.
it was definitely, it wasn't anything that like threw me off my feet. No, definitely. I'm
Yeah.
excited for where this is
Oh,
going to
I'm
go for
so
you.
glad. I really enjoy this as well.
Same.
Perfect Sunday start.
Honestly. And now I'm going
Yeah.
to see my brothers.
Oh,
Family time.
I love that. I think I might just sleep to be honest, because I've had
Fair.
such a long weekend.
And imagine, and you've
Yeah.
been doing this like back to
Back to
back, back
back,
to back.
yeah. But this is what I prayed for. So I'm happy.
I tweeted that the other day and I was like, God, please give me the strength to be able to accept things that I've prayed for. Because you pray
Wow.
for all these things that you want, and then when it's coming, it's easy to get like overwhelmed and
Yeah.
cool. But I'm like, God, just whatever it is that I need to accept these things I prayed for, please just keep giving it to me.
Yes. That's so yeah. That's so real. Wow. I think that's the perfect way to finish this episode.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, guys, for listening,
Thank
watching.
you.
Check out Rendoll and check out Reni. If you're in London, come to her pop up on the 15th and
Please,
16th.
please, please.
It's 2 days, right?
Yeah,
15th
15th
and
and 16th of
16th.
July. It's in
Yeah.
Shoreditch. And once you go on the Rendoll Lagos page, it's like the pinned picture there, so you can see like the address and times and everything.
Yeah, I'm
Please
definitely
come.
going to be at one of
I've put so
them.
much work into this.
Please, and support her. Like, she deserves all of it.
Thank you.
So, love you guys, and I'll see you in my next one.
Bye.
Bye.